Monique is going after Oprah for controlling the industry, and Katt is backing her up. After years of being blackballed, Monique is finally opening up to what actually got her kicked out despite her having an Oscar. Oprah's image as the nicest person in Hollywood is finally coming apart, and Katt is exposing Oprah for who she really is. Let's go. You started getting labeled as difficult. Yes. Why do you believe that happened, and do you see that changing, and why? I got labeled as difficult, my husband and I. And my husband is Sydney, who happens to be my manager. We got labeled as difficult because I said one word, and that was no. Now I said no to some very powerful people. I said no to Oprah Winfrey. I said no to Tyler Perry. I said no to Lee Daniels. And I said no to Lionsgate. And the difficulty came in when people that look like me, like Oprah, Tyler, Lee Daniels. And I got to put my brother Steve on the list. Y'all knew I was not wrong. I'm unapologetic, and I'm unwavering about it. Because when I see this woman, Oprah Winfrey, how do you, as a black woman, watch another black woman be thrown under the bus based off of a lie? What I won't do is be quiet. I won't go away. I won't back down. Monique was one of the first major names in Hollywood that went against Oprah, and her career got destroyed as a result. Despite winning an Oscar for her performance back in 2009, Monique never got any major roles or offers. According to her, Oprah was the one controlling things from behind the scenes. Monique tried to expose Oprah, but no one would believe her, and even though some of the biggest celebrities were telling Monique she was right, publicly they were still defending Oprah. All of this was because everyone was scared of Oprah. We don't want to say that out loud because it's Oprah Winfrey. I'm too old to be scared of this. I'm too old to be intimidated by this. I'm too old to hold the truth. Why? Because Melvin, cause that tried to with me privately, but I'm a public. You try to with me behind closed doors. Open the door up. Ding dong. I'ma let your ass in. Now, are you going to curl or not? So, when I say to our community, I know Oprah Winfrey when the curtains are closed. I know when the cameras aren't running. That's why Oprah Winfrey does not want to sit down publicly with me nor my husband to have a conversation, because within minutes the community would know who Oprah Winfrey really was, because what she's not used to is anybody asking her any questions. I'm the deliverer. I'm the author. I'm the authority of all life and all beings, and I know it all. And someone would ask, well, how? Monique said that Oprah isn't the person most people believe her to be. And just like Katt Williams said, everyone who is lying about who they are and what they do is about to be exposed. Now, it's Oprah's turn. The way Oprah ends up always being connected to some of the worst predators in Hollywood might not be a coincidence, and that's exactly what Monique and Katt are trying to say here. Harvey Weinstein, Sean Diddy Combs, and even some of Epstein's associates all had alleged connections to Oprah. When we know something is wrong, everything Katt Williams said here and said, right. We all know it to be the truth. However, we get so caught up in, well, I ain't gonna say nothing. Well, can you believe he said it, or can you? Or it's the messenger. It's the messenger, baby. We get so caught up in the messenger that we'll overlook the message. People have a hard time hearing a 5'5" giant tell the truth. People have a hard time with a black woman over 200 lb tell the truth, because people that look like us, we should just be grateful we got invited to the party. We should just be grateful that someone paid us attention. I dealt with that in my whole life. I've dealt with that. So, when you get to a space where you say, listen, I want to be free. I want to be free. I don't want to walk around intimidated, scared, fearful, what might happen, what they going to have, what they going to say, what they going to do. If it's your story and it's the truth, tell it. Because what you can do is being a position to prevent it happening to someone else over and over and over again. Oprah's issues don't end with Hollywood either. After Epstein and Diddy, there are rumors that another major celebrity is now trafficking victims and child actors to elites. Some online investigators think that Oprah might be involved. To understand if Oprah really was involved in trafficking, we need to go all the way back to 2007. Around this time, Oprah launched the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for girls in South Africa. Years later, the school faced a serious scandal involving abuse by a staff member, which critics say damaged Oprah's carefully curated public image. That same year, reports of young girls disappearing started to come out. Before long, a female teacher was accused of physically and sexually abusing students. More than 15 girls came forward with complaints of mistreatment. Some students later questioned how much leadership knew at the time, though no evidence ever showed Oprah personally knew about the abuse. The trial of a former dormitory matron charged with abusing 6 students at Oprah Winfrey School for Girls in South Africa is resuming. Prosecutors say former dorm matron Tina Virginia Makopo tried to kiss and fondle the girls. She's also accused of kicking and hitting some of them. Makopo pleaded innocent to 14 charges of indecent assault, and criminal injury in South Africa. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, the ex-headmistress of the $40 million school is suing Winfrey for defamation. The suit claims someone would conclude from Winfrey's comments that the school employee knew of the alleged abuse and was actively involved in covering it up. I was, needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my core. Winfrey said she was disappointed in the former headmistress. The TV talk show host also made comments about students who felt there was an atmosphere of repression at the school, and I spoke to all the girls personally. And I encouraged all of them, any of them who had actually been harmed, to please come forward. So, we know that Oprah had access to a school that was facing allegations of students disappearing. Now, believe it or not, but Harvey Weinstein, one of Oprah's closest friends, and as it would later turn out, one of the worst pedophiles in Hollywood, was allegedly working closely with a celebrity. What are the chances that this celebrity was Oprah? Some of Oprah's friends seem to think so. Publicly supported victims of assault in the wake of numerous allegations against Harvey Weinstein, singer Seal Instagrammed this meme showing Winfrey kissing the disgraced mogul. It reads, "When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution. Please welcome Seal." The 54-year-old who's appeared on Oprah's show captioned his post, "Oh, I forgot. That's right. You'd heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially young, starry-eyed actresses. My bad." While Weinstein maintains his innocence, Seal hasn't commented further and Oprah has not responded. This moment is a really powerful time for everybody to get woke. Fans have come to her defense, pointing out Winfrey is a sexual assault survivor. They also posted pics of Seal's ex, Heidi Klum, kissing Weinstein too. Oprah has been trying to downplay her relationship with Harvey Weinstein for years, despite there being hundreds of photographs showing the two of them together. Not to mention that even if you take away Harvey Weinstein and Diddy, two of her closest friends, her relationship with alleged Epstein associates is still there. A tweet about Oprah's alleged relationship with Epstein reads, "Epstein documents reveal that a woman stated on record that Epstein offered her money to birth babies for black market use." The email also mentions John of God, who has ties to Oprah, who was sent to prison for keeping women and children in an underground lair, where he would rape them for years and birth babies for organ harvesting and black market purchases. He would then eliminate the women and children when they were no longer useful or could produce children. This was one sick monster who deserves more than prison and the most severe punishment possible. Spoke already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on. I think that I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, the whatever is the silver lining, and this is what I do know for sure. When something this major happens, when you have the Fallout 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment, and what I do believe is actually happening is that first of all, it's triggering a lot of unreleased pain, repressed anger, guilt and suffering that a lot of women have had. I happened to be on set with several actresses the other day and we were filming some things and they were like, hadn't slept over a period of 2 or 3 days and I was like, what is that? I said, oh, you guys are suffering from PTSD. And when you start talking about it out loud too, when you haven't talked about it out loud, a story. Everybody has a story and so I think this is a watershed moment. We will have lost this moment. I think this is a moment where, no matter what business you work in, there have been women who not only had the disease to please, that's a part of it, but who felt that in order to keep my job, in order to keep my position, in order to keep moving forward, I've got to smile. I've got to look the other way. I got to pretend he didn't say that. I got to pretend he didn't touch me. I think those days are about to be over. Are over. And if it happens to you, back in the day, you would say, I'm sometimes. You're not even aware what he just said. Was it really inappropriate? I know you've had a couple of moments where you just think, what did he just say? Yeah, so I remember Gail had a moment when she came and said to me what somebody said to her that was so inappropriate. I was like, oh my God, you can sue over that. No, and all I said was, what did you say? And then they repeated it. Yes. It's terrible. I just sit there typing with my 20-something years of life. You pretend you didn't hear it. Yeah, you pretend it's okay. You pretend you didn't. No, it isn't. You're right, Jeff. You're absolutely right. But a lot of women have been silenced, and I know. But I do think it's going to change. Being a victim of a child abuse, that when you feel like you cannot be heard and then other people start speaking out, it makes you feel like, oh, now I can speak out too. And you've been speaking about it for a year. For years. With this in mind, looking back to some of Oprah's old interviews just makes you think. Like, what is going on behind the curtains? What kind of person do you have to be to even say something like this on live TV? Not wavered, because I've had girls at my school who were sexually assaulted and I have never won a case. And the reason I have never won a case is because when you put a girl on the witness stand and she can't remember, was it Thursday or Wednesday? It's automatically discredited. And so, when you're in the midst of trauma, something terrible things happening to you, you may not remember the exact time. It's why if I hear a noise or something in my house, I look at the time because they're going to ask what time was it? Oh my God, what time is it? So if you can't remember the day and the time and the everybody's like, well, okay, I guess it never happened. Guess it never happened. Oh, I said it was that hotel, but it was that hotel. Oh, it probably never happened. So, I've been through that. It feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis. It feels good. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, you crazy? Because everybody wants to believe it's like assaulted and you're being thrown up against the wall and and I have said for years, if the user is any good. The most shocking part of Oprah's reaction to being excused for being friends with criminals is that somehow she still thinks she's the victim. It's not the hundreds of victims or child actors in Hollywood, it's the billionaire that has been silencing black voices for years. In a recent interview, she said this. Some of the crazy stuff that's written makes me so sad because I've lived such an honorable life and I'm not trying to make myself look like Miss Goody Two-Shoes. But I really do. You know, one of the things that Maya Angelou had said to me years ago is that I am obedient to the call. So I've done like you all have done. I mean, I can honestly say that I have never done anything to consciously cause harm to another person. I can't think of one thing that I would have done in this life. And I feel that from y'all too. Good people in here. And so to hear people say things that are just crazy, like I'm a part of a cabal and there's a whole conspiracy with children, that stuff makes me sad. Moving on to some of the more serious claims, some investigative journalists have even pointed to similar behavior that both Epstein and Oprah were part of. We know for a fact that Epstein had research facility on his island where he would invest in stem cells taken from his own children. Allegedly, women would be impregnated and stem cells would be taken from the fetuses. Now, there are actually several celebrities who have confirmed that there are industry executives who actually buy babies for ritualistic purposes. Peter J. Negord, one of Oprah's guests, was even caught on tape trying to bribe black women to give him their aborted fetuses. The stem cell technology that Peter Y. invested in is called SCNT, which takes the egg of a young fertile woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus, and puts our DNA in the nucleus. It's just going to take it out. The fetal line? Huh? The fetal fetus line? And this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy sex black women from Africa. You girls have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection. and we want some of that. So girls, for $100, we would pay you for your egg. I'll pay you. I'll pay you $100. So how much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500. Whoever I bid, he's going to outbid me. I'll bid $100. I'll bid $100. $60,000 for eggs. Yeah. If you have the abortion, that's very valuable. The umbilical cord, and placenta, not, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells. We were regarded as waste, and it should be captured as recycled, and it should go to waste. It's life for somebody else. It's life for mankind. But all the best days are 16 to 18 years old. Those are the best days. As you get older, your age get older. Not only was Peter J. Nygaard a friend of Oprah, but Oprah was actually using these stem cells to stay young herself. A clip is going viral showing old footage from the Steve Harvey show where a guest applies an Oprah-endorsed anti-aging cream made from human foreskin-derived fibroblast, which has resurfaced amid the 2026 Epstein Files releases. I'm going to put a little on your hand. Oprah did that. Oprah did that. Did it. All right, so here we're going to rub it right in. How come it's red? I'll show you in a sec, Steve. So this is made from growth hormones of human foreskin. Look, the wrinkles has just disappeared. I can't even ball my hand up. But so it's made from human foreskin. I'm sorry, Steve. You'd have sat up here and squirted somebody's private parts in my damn hand. What you laughing at? I'm sorry. This your last time on the show. This your last time. Not coming up in here. This is why it's important to keep talking about Oprah and expose her for who she really is. Monique even said this. She's never going to stop exposing Oprah and all the shady deals that she's a part of. As a result of her saying no to Oprah and trying to distance herself, Oprah killed Monique's career. Monique even went on Club Shay Shay and suggested that her being blackballed was punishment to deter black women from speaking out against pay inequality in Hollywood. There's a disconnect. Okay, there's a disconnect. And there's been a disconnect for years. There's a disconnect, and I think what happens is we place people on these pedestals and we say, oh no, you can't do no wrong. We don't even want to hear it. Right? And when you hear cats say, you know what they do? They don't say anything and they act like it didn't happen. I'm going to keep talking until you take accountability, right? Until you say, Uncle, I've done this. That's why it was so important from Oprah Winfrey to Tyler Perry Lee Daniels. Now, Lee Daniels was the only one I had to deal with. Did you see Lee Daniels apologize? He walked out on that stage. Not only did he apologize on stage, that man apologized to our children. That man apologized to our children and said, I need to apologize for what I put y'all through. He's the only one I had to deal with. However, it became a problem with Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry that I wouldn't do something and work for free. Now, when you say, well, maybe Oprah feels like she came through it, why can't you? Well, there's a story with Oprah Winfrey when she was on the show, People Are Talking. Richard Pryor was making $55,000. She was making $22,000. These are her words. It was her co-host. She said, I had to leave because they wasn't paying me fairly. Now, you say black woman who did nothing wrong, and you're in the midst of this situation because she called me, Tyler Perry called me, Lionsgate called. When you were on the phone with my husband, you said, I agree with Monique. I agree with the position she's taking. But when it came time to say it out loud, Oprah Winfrey went totally silent. That's why when people say, Monique, when you going to sit with Tyler and Oprah? I'm not. Just so we clear, I'm not. Because we've gotten so used to letting it go and moving on. Well, what does that come from? Let it go. Let it go and that dates all the way back to slavery. Just don't say nothing. Just keep moving on. And that's why we continue to be treated the way that we get treated. So, for me, my babies, I won't let go and I won't move on from that. Doesn't mean I'm bitter. I'm not angry. And I love my brother and sister, or my sister and sister, whatever day Tyler chooses, whichever way he goes, I love all of them. However, wrong is wrong and right is right. And until we start standing on what is right, we will continue to be treated wrong. That's just my humble opinion. Though I understand where you may be coming from, Monique wasn't the only one who realized this and nearly saw their career tank. See, in Hollywood, they pay you millions, not just to act or perform, but to look the other way and just do what you're told. That's the real Hollywood system, and it makes sure the biggest players are totally protected, no matter what they do. Remember a few years back when Dave Chappelle literally walked away from a massive deal? He said he just couldn't trust what the industry wanted. And guess what? Oprah even made fun of him for it. Everyone laughed, called him difficult, and dismissed his decision. But now, everything that Dave said is starting to make more and more sense. You need to step away from the money to maintain your integrity. Comedian Dave Chappelle left tens of millions of dollars on the table when he walked away from his popular Comedy Central show. A lot of people wondered what the hell was he thinking, and that's a quote. Chappelle says he was thinking, or whether he was thinking. A lot of people ask that question. Chappelle says he had a crisis of conscience and stood up for his integrity as an artist. He explained to us how stepping out of the spotlight helped him avoid getting caught in a trap. It's so much bigger than money, though, Dave. It's so much bigger than money. Oh no, it was bigger than money. But you know what? I watched one of these nature shows one time, and they were talking about how a bushman finds water when it's scarce, and they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this. Apparently, baboons love salt. Okay? So, they put a lump of salt in a hole, and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt, salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped. He can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. Baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then, the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then, the baboon gets thirsty. The bushman lets him out the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water. Bushman follows him, and they both drink to their fill. And in that analogy, I felt like the baboon. But I was smart enough to let go of the salt. Isn't that a great analogy? No. He's very, very thoughtful and very, very smart. As for what kind of things you need to look the other way from, Harvey Weinstein allegedly assaulted women for decades. Every major celebrity, producer, actor, and director knew what Weinstein was doing. Now, instead of calling him out on it, these people covered everything up and made sure that his abuse continued. You have to ask yourself, is that same thing happening with Oprah now? It's about Hollywood managers who manage kids. It's a racket, man. Did you hear that kid from These Kids? Dude, the kid from Stranger Things? Stranger Things? He just left his manager, and they're alleging they just left their agency. If you can find that, Owen Benjamin. The curly hair kid. Owen Benjamin just put it on his Instagram today because Owen has been taking a lot of heat online because he said that a 3-year-old kid shouldn't be transgender and people giving him a hard time saying he's a bigot. Like, are you out of your mind? Well, what's up with this transgender dog? Stranger Things actor dropped agent because of sex accused of sexual assault. Disney star files suit. Jesus Christ. This is nuts, man. Watch an Open Secret and they go through it. Do they pick? They're accused. What's it on? It's on. It's for free, I think. On Vimeo. You can watch it for free. An Open Secret. It's on YouTube or something. You know what Sturgill Simpson told me? He said the same thing exists in music. He said in music there's a bunch of pedos and pedo music as well. In the entertainment business all the way through. Music. This is about music and movies and TV. It's about the whole entertainment business. Women and kids. Mostly kids. Dudes. You know, Terry Crews said that he was attacked. Well, not attacked. Some dude grabbed his dick. His dick in front of his wife. Dude grabbed his dick. As for what child actors in Hollywood are actually going through, I'll let one of the victims answer that for you. Had me over to the house of where these perpetrators in this ring kind of basically started. They'd pull me away for their threat sessions and tell me they have gaydar, they have this. At the end of the day, if you don't keep the members of this group happy, we control Hollywood. We can eliminate you. We will eliminate you. Threat after threat after threat. At the house, I've had, put in drinks. I had liquor poured down my throat from being, where there were rules in the house of no swimsuits, no clothes out by the pool area. I was numerous times in that house by numerous individuals, various types of abuse all throughout that house. It was just something you were like a piece of meat to these people, and they'd pass you around between them. It was if I could define what that house was, it's evil. There are even darker theories on where the children vanishing from Oprah's school were actually ending up. No one wants to admit, but emails from the Epstein files show hundreds of victims. Where was Epstein sourcing these victims from? Did his connections into Hollywood have a role to play in it? When he was a billionaire, freakazoid, you know? Yes. And part of his deal, he's in prison in jail up in Canada waiting, charges all over the globe. But his deal was that he would allegedly impregnate young women in the Bahamas, where he had a huge home, and then have them get abortions and harvest their stem cells of the fetuses to inject in himself as the fountain of youth. And this we get into this in that documentary. And was Epstein involved in that sort of activity? I don't know. That's where, and again, we just have to look at what we have and know what we don't yet. Yeah. But it's a question. Yeah. And you look at the context of the question. Yeah. And when you look at what other billionaire guys have done, were they in contact somehow? Once you start connecting all these stories together, the industry starts looking a lot darker than people want to admit. From Monique calling out Oprah to Dave Chappelle's warnings to stories coming out of Hollywood itself, a lot of people are finally speaking up. But what do you think? Is Hollywood protecting powerful people behind the scenes, or are these celebrities reading too much into it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories Hollywood doesn't want you to hear.